Hi people, welcome to a video on the channel, and yes, I actually have a haircut. I think it's very nice. Yeah, no one really cares about that, but I thought I'd tell you. But today everyone, I'm presenting to you the latest instalment of the Forest transfer window. Yeah, there's been quite a lot going on. There is some more rumours that I have previously spoke about, which I'm going to give an update about. I also have 3 fresh new links in terms of incomings, and I have a fresh link in terms of outgoing. And there is actually a confirmed deal in terms of outgoings, no confirming deals just yet, which is, Forest, if you could hurry up please, that would be really nice. But yeah, I'm going to waste no more time getting straight into it. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and if you never want to miss a video, turn the notifications bell on. I'm not here to force you, but it would help quite a lot. But yeah, without further ado, let's go. So we're going to start with a confirmed deal. Cafu, he was technically released on released and returned. Well, I mean, he was. He was released on the released and retained list a month or two ago, start of June, I'm pretty sure. And he's now signed for Rotherham United in the Championship. He signed on a 1-year deal, and over the course of his time at Forest, he scored 1 goal and got 3 assists, and became a cult hero amongst the fan base. Despite not playing week in week out, he first joined on loan from Olympiacos. He was actually one of the few good players that we got from Olympiacos. We made the loan permanent, and in that season under Chris Hughton, although we were terrible, he was actually pretty good, became a cult hero. Even though his appearances were limited, he became a cult hero. The Cafu chant whenever he came on, he was a cult hero, and it's sad to see him leave, but it's for the best for both player and the club. So into the rumours now. Now I have spoken about this player before, Dean Henderson. Obviously, he was on loan with us last season, so it was going to be an obvious rumour, and when he did so well for us, we were obviously going to want to get him back. However, there has been some new fresh rumours and reports. It's taking all sorts of turns. One point it looked like we looked like we were going to get it for 20, then it went to 15, then it spiked in last week to 30. Now it looks like the 20 million, because obviously David De Gea has departed Man United, and United are going to want some extra funding to getting another goalkeeper, because it's obvious that Dean Henderson doesn't want to stay. When you look what he said in the interview last year, he just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be there. The United fans don't want him there. So it's just best for everyone that he goes to Forest, because he wants to play for Forest. It's abundantly clear. But yeah, so it does look like it's going to be in the region of 20 million. I imagine there will be some add-ons as well. So overall, the final price will be about 25, based on other articles. I'll be very surprised if there isn't another U-turn in this. But yeah, United are looking like they want to fund a deal for Raya or Onana. So they're going to want to try and get as much out of us as they can. But yeah, Henderson, he was always going to be linked with joining us after he made 20 appearances on loan last year, getting 6 clean sheets, saving numerous penalties, and he just look at the passion. It was obvious he wants to come back, and he loved his time here. So make it happen, Forest. And the final update in terms of the rumours, I have spoken about this player before again, just last week, Kelechi Iheanacho. Now a bid reportedly, I just want to make this clear, reportedly, of £8 million is looking like it's close to being finalised with Leicester. Now obviously there's going to be a mass exodus at Leicester because they've just been relegated, and Iheanacho, he's going to want to link up with his Nigerian teammate Taiwo Awoniyi. Now obviously there is, my only slight concern with this transfer is AFCON, because when AFCON comes around, it's going to take quite the big hit on our team. Just look, we've got Niakate at the back, Kouyaté as well, Awoniyi, Dennis as well if Dennis stays, and if we get Iheanacho, that's 5 players, 3 or 4 key ones as well going to AFCON. So I wouldn't be opposed to getting 2 other strikers, especially if Awoniyi's injury is going to be slightly more consistent. However, 35 appearances last season, 11 league starts, 8 goals, 5 assists across all competitions. Those are not numbers you can say willingly no to. He's been in the Premier League for most of his career, and he's been a staple there, and especially in the last couple of years he's really improved for Leicester, and if you can get him for less than 10 million, I don't see why not. He has fantastic depth into the squad, and it'll be daft to pass up on this opportunity to sign a very proven Premier League striker. Now forgive me for the pronunciation of this next player, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Dragowski. He's a Polish goalkeeper that's been on Forest's shortlist for over a year now. We were linked with him last summer when Samba suddenly left, but we did probably what the best thing was to get Henderson, who had played in the Premier League before. Now, my only concern with this is he's 25, which is a very good age for a goalkeeper. 25 is like 22 for an outfielder in terms of goalkeeper, because you can go a lot longer when you're a keeper. He's currently playing out in Italy for Sepiza, who have just been relegated to Serie B. Now, it's not the fact he's been relegated, it's just when you look at his numbers over the last few years. So this year, he's made 35 appearances, keeping 7 clean sheets, but conceding 57 goals. He's made 2 Polish caps for the first team, his most recent one being a 6-1 loss to Belgium when he started. So it doesn't look great. In his last season at Fiorentina, he conceded like another 48 to 55 goals, that sort of region. So like, he looks like he's decent in terms of like shot stopping, because he was facing a lot of shots. However, he's conceding a lot of goals, so obviously it's not going to be all on the goalkeeper, it's going to be on the defence. But if our defence is like how it was last year, I don't really want him being number 1. He is going to cost us 5 million, which I would be cool if he was back up, you know. If he was back up, 5 million quid, you know, fair enough. And then we have like Henderson as our starter, that's cool, you know. Wayne Hennessy, 3rd choice, cool. I would be okay with that. But a starter, with respect, no. Obviously, you've got to take into account he's unproven in the Premier League, which could be both a good and bad thing. He could be horrible and have a stinky time, but he could also be a miracle, and to get him for 5 million quid. However, if we're going to get him as backup, cool, I would make peace with that. But I just don't think with those numbers, he would be a great starter. I've seen, you know, a little compilation. I know it's not the best thing to do for research, and he looked decent, but if the defence is anything on par with what we have at Forest, I don't think he'll be quite number 1 material. Obviously, he's 25. He's got a decade left playing football, really. So obviously, he's still got time to learn and develop. However, for number 1 in the Premier League, I don't think so. The next player is an interesting one. Pedro. He's a striker who's playing out in Brazil for Flamengo. We were interested in him in January as we were looking to overwhelm our squad with players from Brazil, where we got Danilo and Scarpa. Now, the only sort of downside to this is Brentford are also interested, because obviously they're going to want to get another striker, because Tony's unavailable until about February, March time. Last season for Flamengo, he made 35 appearances, scoring 26 goals and getting 4 assists, which is fantastic. And as expected, Flamengo are going to drive a hard bargain. 27 odd million. We could maybe negotiate that down a little bit if we play hardball, but equally you don't want to take your time with the negotiations, because Brentford could easily swoop in and get him. So I would definitely take him as, you know, another option. I just don't see us getting both Pedro and Iheanacho. I don't see us getting both of them, because even though Sturridge looks like, unfortunately, he will be leaving, I still don't think the 2 strikers, both of them will want to play quite a bit, because Pedro's 26, Iheanacho's 26, 27. They're both going to want to play on top of a 1-year as well, and you can't drop a 1-year because of just how good he's been. Equally, you can't just say, oh, take Johnson or Gibbs-White out, because both Johnson, Gibbs-White and a 1-year is what kept us up last season. So you can't warrant dropping any 3 of them, and equally you can't take a midfielder out, because then you lose any sort of hold on the game you have. So really, it's going to be Iheanacho or Pedro. You could look at it, Pedro won't get called up for AFCON, Iheanacho will. Iheanacho's going to cost a fraction less though, so I will be happy with either of them. Obviously, Pedro is more of a risk than Iheanacho, but then again, Pedro will be a much higher reward because of how much we would have paid for him. I do think he would be a good signing though, because if he's anything like how Danilo's been, and if he's anything like the signs that Scarpa has shown, he will be a good player. I just think it's going to take a lot. Remove Flamengo's stance on how much they want for Pedro. But also, I have looked at some, I know it's not the best research as I've said, but some compilations. His first touch looks, it looks good. It looks very good, just his movement, his awareness of where players are, and his first touch, what he does with it. He has that flair, he has that ability, which a lot of players that have played out in Brazil do have. And equally, that is something that Taiwo has struggled with, his first touch. Like, even though he was really good in the back end of the season, his first touch was probably what was holding him back, and what's holding him back from being one of the top 10 strikers in the league. Could also, Pedro could add to the team a really good first touch. His League Cup play looks very impressive as well. Obviously, I've seen about 10 minutes of him, so take it with a pinch of salt, but I just think he will be a fantastic addition. Now, the final player that we are linked with is, bear with me with the pronunciation again, Piro Hinakape. Apologies if I butchered that, but he's a centre-half who's currently playing in Germany for Bayer Leverkusen. Another downside, though, is Bayer Leverkusen are being very firm with the price. Also, Newcastle and Tottenham are interested as well. Although Newcastle have just spent quite a healthy amount of money on Tonali, and with Leverkusen wanting about 37 million quid for him, maybe that could pull Newcastle out of the race depending on how much they've got available. They are very rich though, but the report was they only had 75 million to spend, and they've spent a good portion of that on Tonali. Spurs and Forest, it's an interesting one. Spurs don't have any European football, so maybe that could sway in our favour, but he's a Colombian international. He got 1 goal and 1 assist last season from centre-half. With what I've seen, he looks very physical, very good in the air, and I think he would be a good signing. Equally though, if we play with the back three, do we drop one of our defenders? I think if we go with the back three, do we go with him, Felipe, and Niakate? So I'm not too sure. Be interested to see what are your takes in the comment section down below. If we get him, would you start him straight away? And if so, who would you drop? But yeah, the only downside from what I've seen is he did get sent off 3 times. He got booked about 20 odd times in all competitions. So that's the only sort of downside. You don't want to be heavily relying on a player that gets sent off quite frequently. So, but what I have seen, he does look like a quality addition. But he's going to cost us a lot of money. 37 million is not cheap, not in the slightest. Even when you're in the Premier League, it is not cheap. Equally though, he helped Leverkusen get to 6th in the league, and he's just 21 years old, so you can look at it like this. Pay 37 million now, give it 3-4 years, there's a very good chance you could sell him on for 50 million and make a profit. So it depends how much Forest are willing to spend this window, because I don't think we need an overhaul in the slightest. I think we don't need any more than 5 players, maybe 6, but no more than that really. However, I do think he'll be a quality addition, and he can learn off the likes of Felipe, as Niakate could also help him with that transition from German football to the Premier League. I think it'll be a very good signing. And finally, in terms of the outgoings, we have got 2. One of which I have covered. So I'm going to start with the one I have covered. Sam Surridge. Now, there is some very strong rumours that it looking like he's going to leave. He's going to leave, unfortunately. I'm a big Surridge fan, and I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed because I think he's deserved so much more football. When Tyler was out for that 3 or 4 month period, he deserved so many more starts. Like, the amount of times when we actually gave him more than a minute off the bench, he actually did create chances and get into some good positions. Bournemouth, he grabbed us by the scruff of the neck and got us a crucial point. And it's a shame because he's a really calm and composed finisher. Leeds has reportedly submitted a bid worth 2.2 million. In today's market, I think we could push for more towards the 5 million. I think anything above 3.5 though would be good, because we spent about 1.82 million on him. If we can make a profit on that, that's fair enough. But I think Surridge has deserved better. I would prefer it to be a loan. But yeah, it looks like he's either going to go to Ipswich or Leeds. So yeah, I do wish him the absolute best of luck, and there's no animosity towards him. I mean, there shouldn't be. He's one of the most overhated and underrated players we have ever had, and I don't want to hear any Surridge slander, because he has been brilliant for us. And the final potential outgoing is Ethan Horvath. Although there was an article going around over the last 3 or 4 days saying that Luton have turned down the opportunity to sign him. I'm not sure if it was Rob Edwards saying no, I don't want him, or if it was Horvath saying no, I don't want to go to Luton, which I would be surprised about that. Equally, I think the issue with Horvath is he does struggle a bit on the ball, which does confuse me because Luton will be playing with a lot less possession in the Premier League, and he's almost, this might be a strange comparison, but he's almost like the Championship David De Gea. Really good at shot stopping, but when it comes to passing out from the back, he does have flaws and he does struggle. But I think most Championship clubs would take him on loan. I think 1 more season in Championship, and then maybe we could look to shift him onto a Premier League side, because I think he's capable. When he came in for that period when Sam had that suspension, he did very, very well and barely put a foot wrong. And overall, he's a solid Championship keeper. He's a year or two away from being a Premier League keeper. I am very surprised that Luton aren't going to go in for him, but I think they're looking at some more experienced options, which is fair enough, I guess. But yeah, thank you for watching. Slightly less rumours over the last week, but I did cover quite a lot in the last 2 episodes. Feel free to check them out. If I remember, I'll put the last video in the annotations there if you want to check it out. Also, feel free to check out my 5 players I think we should sign, my 5 players I think we should sell videos. They're currently uploaded on the channel recently. But thank you all for watching. I should have another Forest related video out on Wednesday or Friday. And I have got a video documentary on the way. It'll either be at the end of this week or the start of next. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Feel free to leave your opinions on the rumours in the comment section down below. And if you want more instant reaction stuff from me, follow the Twitter. And if you want more general, just life stuff, if that's fair, a fair assessment, follow the Instagram and TikTok. They're all linked in the description. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, as I've said about 12 times now. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.